Hey YouTubers, I hope you're enjoying the content. Before we get to today's video, I want everyone to go hit that bell over by the subscriber button so you're notified every single time I upload. Enjoy the video. Hey YouTubers, and welcome back to another Dragon Ball Super discussion, speculation, / theory video. We're going to be talking about today who could potentially be the strongest person in the upcoming Tournament of Power. And in order to help me discuss this right now, I have once again brought on Brandon over at Kihokai 1994. Man, what is up? What is good? Say hello to everyone listening, man.
Hello, everyone listening. How are you doing? What's up, guys?
Match me, man. Match me. Anyway, so in order to just get this kicked off, honestly, just kind of get the low-hanging fruit at the very beginning and save the rest of the fun conversation for the end of the stuff, or at least
knocking off what's probably actually going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like one of the things we need to do is we need to discuss that Goku is probably going to be the strongest person in the Tournament of Power, unless they pull something like the Cell games or something. But we'll get to that. We will get to that. When it comes to Goku, obviously, he's already kind of said that he wants to do his own limit breaker thing. We've gotten hints not only in the anime, but also the opening of the entire show, where it kind of seems like he's doing some kind of a Super Saiyan Blue with Kaioken that we've never seen before. He also reverts back to his base, so honestly, we're not necessarily sure what's going on with that, but it's caused a whole lot of speculation in this community, and honestly, I feel like there is a viable option, a viable argument to consider Goku being the absolute strongest person there is who's going to be fighting in this particular tournament, and honestly, they could definitely just play off the fact that he just goes in there, wrecks shops, and wins, but one of the things I don't want to see, I don't want to see that at all. I want to see Goku go in there, get a little bit over his head like he does almost every single arc. He just kind of overthinks everything. He takes things not too seriously. And considering the fact that this is a tournament and not necessarily fighting someone like Majin Buu or Frieza or something else like that, if there are rules and regulations to this particular fight, even if he is the strongest one, I don't want him to necessarily go in there, be the strongest one, and actually win the tournament. So while he might be the strongest, I don't necessarily think he's going to win. But at the same time, this is a conversation about who is potentially the strongest, and the fact that he can actually do Kaioken times 10, or potentially a lot of people saying maybe even Kaioken times 20, or even further beyond that with Super Saiyan Blue.
100 Kaioken.
No, only in the movies. Only in the movies.
That would be a cool little anime pull.
Only in the movies, but at the same time, like that, like considering the fact that he always has that particular technique up his sleeve, and considering just how strong he is in general, I think there's a general good argument that Goku is actually the strongest person in this particular tournament. But man, what do you think about that?
So, obviously, I don't want to see Goku win again. I mean, he comes in, knocks the guy down a little bit, has his friends work him a little bit more, takes a break, comes back, finishes him off. I don't want to see that. I want to see him, like what you said, in over his head, and then who I want to see be the strongest has to come in and save our main character. I want to see Vegeta come in and kick ass. That's what I want to see. I want Vegeta to finally get his 100% moment. I mean, we got to see it, like we were talking about off air a little bit. We got to see it when he fought Goku Black for 4 minutes maybe. I want to see it for episodes, and not just episodes. I want it all the episodes, not all the episodes, that sounds stupid. I want all the ending episodes. I want him to show he is the strongest. Now, we have some other candidates on the list that I feel could potentially beat him, but that's what I want to see. I want to see Vegeta's moment to shine. We've seen all of his character build up through Dragon Ball Z, through the Buu arc, through all that. He's a family man now. Went from the bad man, now he's the family man. And I want to see him final shine on somebody. Final shine his light onto the audience of GodTube. I want him to be a household name.
Which is us. We're the ones watching GodTube, if you could believe it. It's almost a Twilight Zone type of situation. But shout out to Twilight Zone, hashtag Twilight Zone in the comment section below. But I like that idea too. Personally, one of the things I would say that people are overlooking, which I did a video months ago so many months ago that ended up actually doing pretty well on my channel. Probably my third highest views, at least at the point of recording this particular video, with the fact that at the very beginning of this arc, Goku gets Whis. He wants to go train with Whis. He goes to get Vegeta to go train with him, and he's like, look, come train with me. He's like, I can't. Bulma's pregnant, yada yada yada. She'll hate me forever. And he's like, well, I'm going to get stronger than you. He's like, yeah, as if, like, you can't get stronger than me. And it always made me wonder, like, does Vegeta have something up his sleeve? Whether it's just some new kind of way to bring out his power, like a stronger base to bring him above Goku or Frieza or anyone else that we've seen at this point. Or at the very best, some kind of new technique. Because one of the things is with all of Dragon Ball Z, Vegeta was always at the forefront of coming up with ridiculous techniques to basically take down anyone. So if he has something like that can put him over the top of Goku or any of the other people we're going to be talking about in this particular video, it's going to be really interesting to see. And obviously, if he has that, it could potentially make him the strongest person on the multiverse. So we're just going to have to wait and see.
Well, I have one quick thing about Vegeta real quick. So this will now be a running joke, I guess, in the last 3 or 4 videos we've done, but hashtag Vegeta the original legendary Super Saiyan. That would be awesome. He has predicted this forever, that he is the strongest, he is the prince of all Saiyans, he is the elite, he cannot be underdone by a low-class warrior. I don't want to see that happen again. I want him to shine, like I said. But we'll go on. Who would you like to see next, Mark?
All right, so another person who's kind of a low-hanging fruit. Obviously, I feel like as this video goes on, we'll start talking about more people that are a little bit out there. But one of the things that we've seen for the last couple of arcs here, or the last couple of episodes, I mean, is Jiren being built up as someone who is going to probably be the biggest obstacle for someone like Goku or Vegeta or anyone else we talk about. Goku barely beat Toppo in the last arc of Dragon Ball Super, or the last kind of preliminaries, the preliminaries, and he was like, hey, if you can only beat me, you're going to lose to Jiren. Jiren is so much further beyond myself that you don't have a prayer. And we've only seen Jiren twice in this entire tournament arc, and every single time we've seen him, this guy is getting ready for something. He's getting ready for all-out war. So, and we only know the extent of his power from what we've actually seen in the opening. So we don't necessarily know exactly how strong he is, or what technique he might have, or what strategy he might have in order to actually win the particular tournament. But at the same time, it's what makes him interesting. It's what pushes us forward for every single episode, just waiting and dying to see that fight between Goku and Jiren at the end of this, or at the start of this even. It's what brought us to watch the whole Goku and Frieza fight, or Goku versus Cell, or Goku versus Buu, or something else like that. Goku versus Vegeta in the old days of Dragon Ball Z. And Goku could never step to anyone that he actually got into the ring with at the very, very first part of that fight. So I'm assuming that at this point, no matter how strong Vegeta is, no matter how strong Goku is, Jiren is that much further beyond, and they're going to have to figure out a new way to actually beat him if they're going to win this tournament.
And I think the way that they can beat Jiren, because we're talking about from Universe 7's perspective, I think that we can use a nice warrior from Universe 6, a humble assassin named Hit. And I feel like he will, other than Vegeta, because like I said, Vegeta's my number one I want to see, I think Hit may logically be the second. He, from everything we've seen in this show so far, he is stronger than Goku. When you have all-out battle, he will win. Will. W-I-L-L. Will win. But even in this tournament with no killing, no weapons, having to throw your opponent off the ring, I feel like his Toki Tabashi will come in handy. Because if you've ever seen Jumper, or if you've ever seen X-Men with Nightcrawler, you can see them pull people through this dimension. And I assume that his dimension works the same way, since Goku did break into his dimension and was there with him and then broke both of them out. But I would love to see him yank people through that dimension and toss them out the ring. Even though I don't feel like they'll do that with everybody, because that would be a cop-out and he'd win in... what is it? He'd do it in a second, so 45 seconds of an episode, and then we get one episode of a Tournament of Power with a build-up of another 14, 15 episodes. That'd be a great end.
I would love that, actually. That'd be pretty. I'm a huge Hit fanboy. You can't say anything that I wouldn't just mark out over just incredibly. I'll be marking out over here.
No, I like that one though. That would be really cool. That would be an ultimate tease, like especially with the Boo Saga only having half of a tournament. I'll give them half. They had half a tournament. That would be nice to see them have one episode of a tournament. Mm-hmm. Obviously, they're not going to do that because we've seen everything that's built up. But this is a theory video, and that's what matters. Mm-hmm. Or a speculation video, and that's what matters. But did you have anything else on Hit that you think why he may actually be better than Jiren?
I just, when it comes to the entire build-up of this arc, I've mentioned it before, and I'll just keep mentioning it. The one thing when you have to take in power, one thing we're talking about here is not just strictly power level, but also just kind of character strategy and techniques. Like I said earlier with Vegeta, Hit has a grab bag of techniques, as MJ would like to say, that he could just continually pull from, and I'm not necessarily even sure we've seen the bottom of that bag. So if he isn't hampered or handicapped in any way in this oncoming tournament, then he could potentially be the strongest person there just because of everything that he has at his disposal in order to take out everyone else around him. Literally having anyone body him is just going to be fodder for having that person be that much stronger and cause that much more of a threat to Goku, Vegeta, or anyone else that we've talked to going into this arc. So, or even just this video. So that's all I really have to say about Hit. He potentially could be the strongest person there. And like I said, we don't necessarily know whether anything is going to handicap him, whether the World of the Void is going to stop him from using the Tokutobashi or anything else like that. And we also know his affinity for killing. So when it comes to potentially the spoilers, which seem to be very fake right now, but considering we still don't know if what happens to anyone if they basically get thrown off the ring, if they literally do just get erased, like it has been suggested in the past, then I don't see Hit having any problem with that. I mean, he had to stop the last tournament basically twice just to ask, like, are you sure I can't kill him? Are you sure? Are you sure? Like, come on, let me do it because I'm super okay with it. Are you 100%
positive I can't just take this guy out right now?
Yeah, it's like it would just be the easiest thing right now. So he has no issue. He has honestly no issue with killing anyone. So I mean, he's just the perfect machine for this oncoming tournament. So if nothing takes him out, if he is not the strongest person standing on that ring, and I know I'm a huge fanboy, so that a lot of people don't take this into account, or my word as gospel, you really shouldn't, but it's just, if he's not the strongest person standing there at the end of the day, then I don't understand who is. And I don't understand just how strong someone has to be in order to take him out, or go through his own dimension in order to fight him through the Tokutobashi or anything else that he can potentially do. So there is a very strong argument that Hit is going to be the strongest person standing in that ring when it all starts.
Okay, so say Hit slips when the fight starts and falls out into the void. Who do you think's gonna take that top spot from your lovable Hit?
I know. I'm such a Hit fanboy. I'm sorry,
I like
guys.
him too, man. I want to see a side story of originals. I definitely feel moderately the same amount. I can give you the fanboy credit for it though.
I actually like Hit, but just kind of going off that, Hit has been around for a long time, but we have to kind of take it as, we have to parse this out in terms of the characters that we do know versus the characters that we've met, and the abilities and potentially strategy situations that we've seen throughout. So Hit might have been around for a long time. Hit might have a grab bag of techniques. But one of the things they've made very, very clear in this upcoming arc, or throughout this arc really, is the fact that it's not just about power. It's not just about techniques. It's about strategy. And if you don't have the right strategy, if you don't work together, if you don't have the wherewithal in order to fight with other people or coordinate or any of this other stuff, then you don't necessarily have anything. You can't compete. Goku literally writes off so many other people in order to bring in people like Ten Shinhan and Master Roshi, even though a lot of the community, the fan base, really hates that fact because they shouldn't be able to fight alongside people like Goku and Vegeta at this point. They're just so much further beyond, leagues and bounds ahead of them, that it doesn't make any particular sense, and they feel like the story is literally dragging those people forward in order to catch up or even be on par with those people. But that's not the point. The point is they have years and years and years of experience. So when it comes down to that, I feel like you don't necessarily get much better than someone like Toppo, the leader of the Pride Troopers, this force of unbelievably strong individuals that has been put together in order to protect all of Universe 11. And they do patrol and protect all of Universe 11. We don't know what these guys have been up against. We don't know what these guys were brought together in order to protect. The mere fact that they have so many people on their team, not just Jiren and Toppo, but more people beyond that on their team, despite their power levels, indicates that they've really gone up against some really bad crap in the past. And if without that leadership, without that strategy-based mindset, they probably wouldn't have survived it. So even though he might not be stronger than Jiren, they've already kind of established that. Even though he might not be stronger than Goku, even though he might not be stronger than any other people that we've talked about in this list, the years of experience and being the leader of the Pride Troopers, I think Toppo has it in the bag to be the strongest person there in terms of just physical strength and mental capability and everything. He could step to almost anyone and potentially win this entire thing.
I could definitely see a group of people who fight all across the universe and also save kittens being led by this fantastic person. Like, off air we were kind of talking about, we see how strong Jiren is, and we hear of the strength of all of the Pride Troopers. But, I mean, you have to have somebody that assembles them, and they have to have their respect, and they need to listen. But I was kind of thinking about this while you were talking. Even if they're amazing fighters, what if they need the guidance? What if they are nothing without him? So that makes him the force to be reckoned with, because he is the one that has all of the... I mean, I won't say they're not smart, but he's the one who has the solid plan every time, possibly. I mean, we don't know that much about the characters. We've just seen them reminiscing on war stories, is what it kind of seemed, in their suits in the Sky Lounge drinking.
I'll point you to this, though. Something we have seen on screen is we saw one of them, the guy with the eye, seemingly struggling to actually free a cat or rescue a cat, despite that.
From an electric fence, I believe, right?
Well, the point is he's supposed to be strong, or at least strong enough where they consider him part of this team that encompasses someone like Toppo or Jiren. So we've seen him struggle outside of actually having the guidance of his own leader, who is literally on the phone with him saying, you don't need to be there, your mind needs to be elsewhere and doing this other stuff. So potentially, yeah, like, that team is held together and as strong as it is because of Jiren, and considering the fact that they're going in full force with that particular mindset
because of
their
Toppo.
leader. Yeah. Going into this with that mindset of his, not only is he strong, but they're stronger for it. So potentially that could actually make him the strongest person there.
Okay. So Hit slips and falls out the ring. Goku, we don't care about. We already spoke of that. Vegeta, somehow, by making me and a lot of the community angry, he's not the strongest. And we get to see a two-face, backstabbing... I'm trying to think of nice words to say and not get too explicit, but somebody I am tired of seeing, but I have to deal with because they wanted to stick him into my favorite series, so I have to watch him again. But I will go on his side that if other things happen, he will be the strongest. And I'm going to go with Frieza. Like I said, tired of seeing him, but Frieza holds a lot. He never trained until after being resurrected. So, I mean, he was unnaturally stronger than most of the universe. I can't remember the exact amount of planets that were actually physically named after him. I can't remember how many planet Friezas there are.
Well, I don't know. I think he had like 74. Can comment in the comment section below if you know exactly.
Yeah. I can't think, and please don't just get whatever's off Wikipedia because it's probably wrong. But just he had so many. He ruled with such an iron fist, and I mean he obviously had an army to bid for him, but from the Namek Saga, you see he doesn't really mind about getting dirty if he has to. And especially with these last few episodes that we've been seeing, kind of his inner struggle over the last years in his own personalized hell. We've seen him do the image training on how to kill Goku in every possible scenario that he could think of. He's also talked about ki control, which even though he was bound up in this cocoon, from the last episode, we see that he has 100% ki control. Or, okay, I won't say 100%. That's headcanon-y if I say 100%. But I would say a great deal more control of his ki than he did. I kind of was thinking, I believe it was in the live stream that we did, that we were talking about, I was talking about how I feel that his time is not going to be limited because of his extrain of power, like we saw with Super Saiyan 3 on Goku while he was back in the Buu Saga. I feel like this is kind of like his, it's not God Ki, but it's his way of doing the same technique. With the God Ki, they have 100% control of their Ki. They're not losing Ki. It's just being dispersed evenly around them and through them. And I kind of feel that's what this new golden form is, especially when he was talking about being so delicate he couldn't stir water and just having incredible power on the other hand. And then we get to see what I would say is probably the second best Frieza transformation in the whole series. Not just Super, like the whole franchise. So I'll give him that. That was a pretty hardcore transformation. I don't know how you feel on Frieza at all.
No, I understand where you're coming from with that. I mean, one of the things that Super seems to have done, I guess, it's just kind of run home with the idea that Frieza is just leagues and bounds above almost anybody. I mean, literally, like the guy can be dead and come back with perfect ki control, which is not something that Goku was able to do. Like, when he was dead, he wasn't able to master Super Saiyan 3. I mean, I guess you could argue the fact that, like, well, he hadn't actually ever done it in his own physical form before, and Frieza had, so that's a reason. But Goku has never been able to master certain of his, like, a couple of his forms, and he decided to, like, not use them, or he actually got another form to basically compensate. Frieza, on the other hand, has been able to do almost everything that he possibly can in order to grow his power in such little insignificant amounts of time. And with that being said, I mean, I think when it comes to just sheer force, I think Frieza has this down. I'm not necessarily sure. He is kind of conniving. He's a very smart person. I'm not necessarily sure where his strategy type of abilities are. We've seen him have some awesome kind of just physical abilities, not just his fighting styles, but also the fact that he has interesting ki abilities that he kind of showcased in the Namek arc, not so much in Super. But it would be interesting considering the fact that he spent a majority of his life basically being lazy, that he was relying so much more on his ki. I think it was MJ who said the fact that it would be interesting to see Frost and Frieza fight, because Frieza relies on his ki more than Frost does, who is fought with his hands. I mean, he went into his third form to fight Goku, and they were like head to head for a majority of their fight, just like going at it. So it'd be interesting to see them fight. But I feel like that was when he made that statement. It's kind of out of the window now, because even though Frieza took out most of those spies or those assassins with his own ki, he literally went head to head and literally punched Goku out of his Super Saiyan Blue form. I don't think, and I could be wrong, I mean, it's been a long time. I mean, this series has been going for a long time. I haven't gone back to really watch any of the older episodes, but I don't think we've seen that. I don't think someone has literally punched Goku so hard with one hit that he literally not doesn't transform. Like he literally reverts back to his normal form, and then kind of passes out for a second along with Frieza. So those guys are either equal in strength, or Frieza is able to kick his ass when it comes to just sheer power.
So the thing that I think is going to happen is, especially since I don't like him so much, he's going to get disqualified for switching universes, and he's going to get erased. And so when he gets erased, who's replacing Frieza at the top?
Well, if we're considering Frieza's at the top, and Frieza, so Hit's falling off, Goku.
Yeah. These are all like they've all been built up. Yeah. So Hit still falls off, and Vegeta's not like continuing down that.
The Pride Troopers leave to go rescue a cat, and Vegeta something like that. So, this is probably the most enraging one here for anyone listening. And I'm sure one of the things is going to be in the comment section below is just so many people, if they had gotten this far, just saying we're absolutely wrong and there's no way that we could ever justify this, but give me a chance. Kale. I
think I know why you like Kale so much.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've done videos about it, man. She's bae. Khalifa's bae, but Kale is really bae. Anyway, when it comes to Kale, I think Kale is interesting because one of the things they did very recently in Dragon Ball Super was kind of re-showcase what they did in movie 8 with the Broly movie, basically kind of reinterpreting a lot of those scenes when it came to the 8th film and the battle between Vegeta and Broly and other people, kind of showcasing that she doesn't only have the same form, which probably is not going to be the legendary Super Saiyan form, but maybe Super Saiyan Berserker or whatever they decide to actually call it. But the thing that caught my attention there was the fact that she had this, my power is overflowing. And this is just based off my memory. I could be completely wrong. But she had this, my power is overflowing, kind of line the same way that someone like Broly did in the movie. But one thing I remember, a distinct difference, was when Broly said that, he went up into the air and basically shot out all these random ki blasts, and a lot of the people in the community have speculated that was basically his body rejecting the ki, because it was so much that it literally couldn't house anything. So he wasn't necessarily accumulating power so much that he was actually gathering it so quickly that his body was just basically shooting it out of him. So he was basically just a ticking time bomb. I don't remember them actually playing that the same way in Dragon Ball Super. It kind of felt like she said that and then she just started rampaging. At least, kind of cut down for time or something. Maybe I missed something where that was kind of implied more. But I think that when it comes to Kale, potentially what they could be doing is taking a fan theory and making it canon alongside this particular form of hers, where instead of overflowing to the point where she literally can't house this ki, but she's more so hulking out, where as the longer she's in this form, the more and more she's accumulating all this energy that she can literally store and actually potentially build her character up to the point where she's fighting people like Goku or Vegeta or Hit or Jiren or Frieza on par with them. And it's not necessarily a god transformation. It's not necessarily Golden Frieza or having a Tokotobashi or whatever Jiren or Toppo has up their sleeves. But it's this form in particular just continually builds on itself the more and more angry she gets. And it's Dragon Ball Super's Incredible Hulk ripoff. Like a lot of people want the whole legendary Super Saiyan transformation to be, and I'm sure Toei knows that, and if they go that route, I'd be completely okay with that.
I really now want to see some group of people come up to her when she's just like regular little innocent girl form, and like they say like, oh, you can't fight, you're just some innocent baby girl. And then she just hulks out, points at him, and says, Kale is the devil. And then just douche, goes to town on all of them. No, I really do like that one. I know that you're a huge fan of the Broly movies. I like the first two Broly movies, like a lot of the community. But I like the first two, so I would love to see them kind of like recreate scenes from the first two movies of like his power-ups and his like his demeanor, and maybe even some of his dialogue, like what I was saying about the Kale is the devil thing, or my like it would be really really interesting to see stuff like that and have her basically show off what everybody wants to be canon, because that's so important to every single person in this. I won't say just this community. I will say any community that does discussions, theories, topics, dive in depths. Everybody cares about what is canon and what's not canon, and it's kind of, I do kind of like that Super's playing around with what is and what isn't canon recently.
Mm-hmm. So the last one, you got the last one.
Whew. Oh, I saved the best one for last. So Goku sucks, so he's done. Vegeta, my man, pulls a hamstring and pulls a hammy, so he's not in. Hit, like I said, hits out. Frieza, man, nobody likes Frieza. A bunch of people took Frieza out at once. Kale had the lipstick made her pretty, but the Broly form didn't help her out. Everybody just ganged up on her, and she's gone. And then we get to see my man. I said my man about Vegeta. We get to see my second man. We get to see the boy who spent his whole childhood reading books about insects and fruits and calculus and theoretical physics at the age of 9. We get to see him protect his entire family, because that's what he says is the most important thing to him, and that's why he is fighting again. And that is what has motivated him to help save his universe, his baby girl, his wife, his friends. And I want to see my man Gohan be the strongest and actually take the torch from his dad like he was supposed to. Even though I say that as a joke, I know he wasn't supposed to.
I like that idea. You know, the one thing when it comes to Gohan is he just seems like a perfect character to take the crown. It's just the perfect person to save for last, because one of the things, like I said before, I keep saying again, this tournament arc has put so much emphasis on the strategy side. You have to have brains. You cannot have brawn.
Gohan's got brains.
And
he's got bronze. He almost killed Boo.
Yeah, like Gohan has all of this on his side. But there's
years of experience since he was a child of seeing the most epic fights in the history of Universe 7. And not only seeing that, he went to other planets and saw, like I said the universe, but he saw all of these great battles, just like Krillin. And this is why Krillin obtained so much strength, is because he witnessed all of these fantastic epic battles, and he was able to learn from his experience. And so Gohan's smarts and his experience, he's definitely built up the brawn. He was toe to toe with his dad. His dad was in Kaioken, and he was up there, and that's why Goku is like, you're smart, you're strong, you're the team leader.
Yeah. The thing is, Gohan, at the end of the day, you can talk about Goku, Vegeta, Frieza, Jiren, Hit, Kale, Topo. You can talk about anyone you want to. Caulifla. I mean, hell, you can get in there and argue your heart out in the comment section below that Roshi is the strongest person because of this, that, and the other. Gohan makes sense. Gohan makes the most sense going into this particular tournament arc, because not only have they focused so much on you need strategy, you need brains, you need passion, you need all this other stuff, but they have also created this this duality of what actually creates Saiyan energy and Saiyan transformations and stuff like that, with this side story they've had with Kaba, Caulifla, and Kale. Kaba teaching them how to turn Super Saiyan, how to unlock their inner potential with bringing out anger. You need to be angry. You need to know how it is to feel angry. You need to understand and remember what that
You need
feeling
to feel
is.
the tingling in your back.
Yeah, you need to remember that feeling. And at the same time, you have this other side plot going on with Gohan and Piccolo. And Piccolo saying, "You've been doing it wrong your entire life. You have these fleeting moments of strength. You cannot grasp. And when you're in that strength, you can never maintain it because you're not of calm mind. You need to achieve the power in another way." And to have Gohan walk in here, not only with the brains and strategy elements that he has accumulated, not only through his own education, from personal education, but also fighting the Saiyans and fighting Frieza and fighting the androids and fighting Cell and fighting Boo and fighting Beerus and fighting, just fighting everyone. Fighting everybody.
Because he takes care of the world. Like, everybody wants to have that argument that he's a scholar and then he never helps, never does anything, that he's always scared, which in the beginning he is scared because he's a child. And would you want to get punched in the face if you were 6 years old? No, because I didn't want to get punched in the face at 6-year-old by a 30-year-old grown man from another planet. But,
yeah.
he's done all of this and he's ready to protect the world. He understands that without him, he can't be a scholar anymore. He understands that he can only be a scholar in times of peace. And when in times of war happen, he has to be the war.
Mm-hmm. And so when you take all of that together, when you take all of that life lesson, all of that education and fighting and lessons and anger and pain and all this other stuff together, and he sits there and goes, and they point out and they foreshadow, "I'm going to find a form that no one's ever achieved before." I think that is not just hyperbole. They are going to show Gohan get probably a transformation that he is potentially going to go beyond that of a Super Saiyan God or Jiren
Golden
or Toppo
Uzaru question mark.
Over anyone that we've talked about in this particular video, he's going to go above them. Now, whether or not Goku and Vegeta will actually surpass him is probably beyond question. I think that will actually happen, but this is Gohan's arc. I've been saying it for months now. This is Gohan's arc. They're going to...
It's his time to shine.
Yeah. And
I mean, he shined in the Cell games, and you and me did a video on my channel, or will be on my channel soon, about how we feel he also did well in the Boo arc. But I feel like this will be the time that actually makes up for the Boo arc to the fans who think that was a letdown.
Yes, I completely agree. And I think that when you add up everything, Gohan will probably be the strongest person there, the one ready, willing, and able to fight, and will potentially even win the tournament. And I know a lot of people have said that, oh, you don't need just one person left standing. That might be true, but when we talk about strongest person, we're not just talking about who has the strongest ki, just most strength, best strategy, all this other stuff. I think Gohan clears every single one of those categories at the end of all this, and whether or not he's the last person standing or there's other people standing, or even if Universe 7 wins, he's the MVP of the entire tournament.
I will say, spoiler alert, Universe 7's going to win.
You don't know. I think...
But I'll go with you on that, what you were going, not having to be the last man standing. If people like sports, there's an MVP on a winning team.
Mm-hmm.
And that might be what Gohan is. Because he may not be the strongest, but he is the reason. He made the plays. He did what he needed to do for his team to take care of the situation and win the game.
Yeah.
And that's what gets you an MVP role, and that's what gets you at the top of the list on a Mark and Kihokai video.
Exactly. So, guys, tell us what you think about this in the comment section below. Please, 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 please do not forget to go down to the description section below and hit that link to Kihokai's channel, because, guys, this guy makes some really awesome, very thoughtful content. And honestly, one of the things I just greatly respect about our community is people start channels, people do these videos to talk to you guys about topics that they love and they want to talk about, and that's really all they want. And you get that with him, man. You get that if you go over. I've
got some fun ones I've been thinking about recently. I
Yeah.
know I've been talking to you about them.
Yeah. So, like, if you want that, guys, if you want to go see some interesting concepts that you don't necessarily see around any of the other channels, and you want to be able to interact with someone who will interact back, please make sure to go check him out because you won't be disappointed. But with that being said, guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Do not forget to hit that bell over by the subscriber button even, because that will notify you every single time I upload. And
I might be in it.
That's true. You definitely might be, considering. But guys, have a good day.